Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, motorcycles, dogs, property, the kid, the pond, the attitudes, yeah, all the good things. Good Friday morning there, and wow, it's cold. It's cold. It's cool. I've had to put an extra layer of clothes on this morning. Still wearing my shorts. And wow, what a beautiful Friday morning. Hey, thanks for watching my channel, subscribing, or just viewing. Appreciate the support out there, and really do, for everybody that kind of listens to my views and ideas and thoughts. And so yeah, really beautiful, incredible morning. My wife yesterday morning says, this car situation drives me nuts. I'm sick of this, not being able to drive up to the house and park in front of the house. She drives that white Grand Cherokee. And I'm like, yeah, I know. The kid here wants priority front parking. And my wife's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the keys to these cars and go hide them. I told the kid that yesterday morning. And she's like, wait a second. I'm not the problem. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, we got a problem here. What's crazy is, look at all these vehicles. And there's three more somewhere else. And I actually need to bring those other three home in all reality. But if anybody here was the first time viewer of my channel, and even those that watch regularly, I'm sure the first thing they'd be thinking is, this is some rich ass guy. This is just some rich ass guy showing off all his stuff, brag about me. Yeah. But I think that the key word would be, he's rich. And that's what I think a lot of us kind of do. We evaluate others and how they look, what they drive, and kind of come to think, are they rich? Not something this morning. We're going to make the conversation this morning about being rich, because we talked about being poor, talked about being gone, talked about poor decisions, and this past week talked about pay. So I thought we could wrap it up Friday on the Fridays, end of the week morning conversations, and we'll make it the rich conversation. Look at this Bronco Raptor. Yesterday I got the windows tinted, the front windows, put a strip across it. I just really love the way this Bronco Raptor looks. Come on, boys, get in the barn. Come on, barn. Come on, let's go. Come on, get in the barn. They're stuck over. I don't know what they think's going on, but I just think this whole package with this 37-inch tire wheel package, so awesome. Look what I did. I put my Ice Age TV little angle. If anybody wants one of these stickers, I'm sending them out for free. Ice Age TV. If you want one, just go to iceagetvcomments@gmail.com and give me your name and address, and I'll mail one of them to you. I like them. And you know, look, it says internal combustion engine. I wish I could put a little more, another slogan in there. Keep the Ice Age going. And so, anyways, come on, pups. Yeah, I've been here lately. Come on, Will. Here lately, you know, my property's so visible, and anybody really want to kind of target my property, that's always been a concern of mine. And here's my Hellcat Charger sitting here, and boy, oh boy, these things here are just being stolen left and right. I mean, it's bad, and they're so easy to steal. It's so ridiculous. I mean, sincerely, it's beyond believable. Let's get these dogs in the barn, in the office, because they'll find something to go chase. That just ruins my whole moment. So, let's see here. Get the dogs in. But the Dodge Charger there, what's cool about that Dodge Charger, it's such the muscle car, and that's why I just love it. And it's not the BMW look, the Mercedes-Benz look. It's just, to me, a really cool looking vehicle. And that's kind of why I've stayed more domestic brand than being the BMW guy, Mercedes guy. I mean, I've had those cars, and because they do just radiate that you're rich. I mean, there's so many people that are embarrassed to drive their really nice car to work because they feel like then it radiates that they're over others and that they're just rich. I mean, I really think that, I know it for a fact. There's so many business owners that will not drive or show all the rich things they have because it just creates that animosity between people, and yeah, they just don't want to do it. But here, the Dodge Charger right here, it is so bad. If you park this car anywhere and somebody's on a mission to steal this thing, all you do is you go in here in the vehicle and you just move. This is on all the YouTube channels. You just move that little rubber tray. This little slot pops open right here. And when you pop that open, you have instant access to getting this car to be into neutral. So I'm trying to show you here as I try to get my knife open without cutting myself open, because you got to pop it. But I mean, why would you show somebody how to steal your car? Well, the guy wants to steal his car. He's already figured this out. But you being a YouTube, viewer, you don't know. So let's see if I can get it out. So there it is. So here, guy just pops it. Here's a little red strap. And this little strap enables you to pull up on this little lever here. And bing, bam, done. I can't even get it out. I mean, you pull up on this lever, and the car goes to neutral, and you can push the car. And I've witnessed videos now of these cars being stolen, okay, where a guy gets in the car, they figured out how to take the window, and they can literally put pressure on this window, and the window pops. It doesn't break the window comes out of its track, and they're able then just to get in the car. They pull up this lever, their buddy in a car behind them, and I'm assuming that this also releases the lock steering wheel is my guess. And so then a buddy behind them can just push the car. But if they're really advanced, they have the code programmed into whatever device they have, and they can literally get the car to power on and start up and take it. So bad. I mean, it really is bad. So for me, it's not comforting at all to think that this car here that I own is just so easy to be stolen, and which it is. I mean, that's a big problem. And I mean, even for me, it's like, do you even feel comfortable of driving this car and parking it somewhere? I don't, because this vehicle is the #1 stolen vehicle. Believe it or not, the Charger is stolen more than the Challenger. Who would guess that? I mean, sincerely, why is the Charger stolen more than the Challenger? I'm gonna leave my knife in the car. I'm cutting myself trying to one hand everything here. It's like, go to my office. But anyway, but this car here, it radiates you being rich. The CVO Rogue Glide. So many people are weighing in on my channel, on the differences of the Harley and the Indian. And to me, the Harley Davidson just radiates more of a rich attitude, muscle bike, better quality, just a higher end. Don't get me wrong. The Challenger Elite, which I have in Tennessee, the bike does have upgraded foot pegs and upgraded floorboards and upgraded handle grips. So to compare the Indian Pursuit, it's challenging to do that. The Challenger Elite would be more the head-to-head comparison. But both bikes radiate richness to them. And both bikes are expensive. I mean, the Harley is far more expensive because it's the Harley-Davidson product. And how did that happen, though? How has Harley-Davidson, been able to make their bike in so many ways 10 grand more? An Indian Challenger Elite's like a $33,000 bike. The Harley-Davidson CVO Rogue Glide is $43,000. How did that come to be? Harley-Davidson has union people? I don't even know. I mean, also serious, I'm not even sure of that. And I'm gonna get my coffee here to get upstairs to the office. So, but anyways, yes, stations. Anybody that's new to watching the channel, or just in general, I think most people will be like, yes, this is a very rich person because he has availability to buy so many things. Yes, I do, but it's called credit. Come on, pups, let's get up here. It is cool. I'm going to have to close some of these windows, I think. It's just the change of season. Middle of September is here. And, wow. Don't need a fan on, that's for sure. Yeah, the Kiefer dog just loves to destroy my office. That's all about having a German Shepherd puppy, just getting going, and he pulls things around and goofs up the way my camera's supposed to be here. It just doesn't end. It doesn't end when you have a German Shepherd puppy and they're just getting going. And good Lord, you got to be rich anymore to own a freaking dog. I mean, to buy a puppy dog anymore, yeah, if you can luck out, maybe. Find a rescue dog, but I'm saying in general, the puppies are extremely expensive. Everything is so expensive. So anymore, you have to be so rich it seems like you have to be richer than rich anymore to stay up with the crowd. I just remember so well back in 2004, 5, 6. It was truly the same thing today that's going on when I used to drive around, and I just used to see all the people buying so much stuff. I mean, this was going on many years ago. For anybody that's kind of younger person, I witnessed it, and I just came to closure. Everybody just is loaded with money, not knowing everybody's borrowing money out of their home as their piggy bank to go buy their extra boat. I mean, I remember the boat dealer, a guy would have like 2 boats, maybe 3 boats. RV dealers were going through, everything it was just crazy. And everybody had all this so-called money. And I would just scratch my head like, wow, where is all this money coming from? Never knowing that everybody borrowed it out of their overinflated home. I mean, and that's why I think so many people my age and a little younger truly think that the crash is coming, because they truly don't believe that this is real money in the market. It's all borrowed money from something else to make others look so rich. And I mean, in so many aspects, that's so true. From the pandemic monies that were handed out left and right, I've talked about it so many times, those monies have enriched so many people. Now the federal government is putting an IRS tax reduction on hold because so apparently if you kept people employed during the pandemic, you can get a tax credit on your business side for retention of employees, and it can be a big tax savings for you. Well, what's going on now is there's so much fraud that they've uncovered from the pandemic monies, of money being handed out to businesses and people, that now the IRS is slowing everything down and saying they're putting a pause on it because they feel so strongly that's going to be another one of the things that a government just starts handing out money that's not real. It's not real. It's fake. It's the fake economy. I mean, are we truly in the biggest fake economy ever in this country? I don't know. I mean, I remember reading when I began my career back in the basically like 1988 when I got into sales. It was when I really kind of transitioned out of being the parts guy to being a manager for a company to driving fuel tanker trucks. When I became a salesperson, I had to grow up. I had to be on my own. I had to go face the reality of talking to people face to face. And I was very young. I was 25 years old when I got going per se in the real commercial fuel business industry. And so I read so many books to try to help me learn how to be a better salesperson and to understand business more. So I grabbed Harvard books. So I just did a lot of reading, research, and one of the biggest books I ever read was the Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, which that's the main video on in my YouTube channel. And that book to this day is stuck in my head about what made people successful. And I looked at those, the Bible to me, of what helped me become who I am today. And it was from Dale Carnegie, Carnegie Hall. And I've told the story many times. Go to my video, Think and Grow Rich, and you'll hear everything in depth on the 12 steps to being successful, the 13th, and the positive mental attitude, sound physical health, harmony in relationships, freedom of fear, hope of future achievement, capacity for applied faith, willingness to share one's blessings with others, to be engaged, a laborer of love, open-minded, all subjects to all people, complete self-discipline, knowledge to understand others, and the financial security comes. You master all those, you get the 13th, which is the sixth sense. And so those are just a basic foundation, a basic common sense that I took into true to my heart, that every day I got out of bed, I thought to myself, do I have a positive mental attitude today? Do I have sound physical health? Do I have harmony in relationships? Do I have freedom of fear? Do I have the hope of the future? I mean, do I have the capacity for my applied faith? I mean, do I have wants to share my blessings? Am I in love or have love for others? Do I have complete? I mean, so the whole point is that it's just the basics of truly of what most people can take to heart, but they can't. And I witness this more than ever. And this is kind of what drove the conversation this morning. Yesterday, I was at the Sheetz gas station down in Dale City, Virginia, near Woodbridge, Virginia, and I'm getting gas, and I'm out in the field. I'm so exposed. I mean, and as times progress, and all the crazies out there, you just have no idea how you're constantly, more than ever, really just having to watch your back and just kind of question what's going on around you. And that's very concerning for me with my daughter being out in the field when she does work on her own. She does not every day, but some days. And so that's just a very challenging time and for all of us, because you witness such bad things that are happening. And so anyways, so I just kind of know the routine. So this young guy comes up to me, and this is the thing. Today, I witness it with my color. I witness it with somebody else's color. I witness it with different nationalities. It is not, I mean, there's no way you can say, well, this group does that all the time. No, it's everybody. It's everybody. So anybody here hearing me talk this morning, it'd be very easy to come to closure that it was this type of person. But I'm not going to do that because it's everybody. I've witnessed this with every type of individual, that even women. But men usually, and usually middle-aged men, not so much younger generation, but here lately I've seen a lot more of the younger generation doing these things. So this young man comes up to me, I'm pumping gas, and already my warning sign is up. What's this kid up to? And then, of course, I could see the expression on his face that he needs money. And so he's asking for some money. I said, well, what's going on? And he's like, well, I need gas. I go, oh, okay. I've been through this routine many times. Like, all right, well, tell you what, hold on. Let me finish filling up my truck here, and let me help you out and see what we got going on here. So he's standing there. It's, oh, okay, yeah. I said, all right. So I said, well, hey, where's your car? And he points way over the other side of the station, like a Toyota older Highlander. And there's some lady in it, and a kid is in the car. And I said, who's over there? And he's like, well, the truck's still filling up. He's like, oh, that's my mom. And I said, and there's a little kid in there. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. I said, so what's going on? He's like, oh, I'm out of my job, and I need money. I need gas money. And I'm like, well, okay, all right. But I kind of go evaluate what's going on here. So let me finish up here. So we walk across, and we go up to the car, and this young lady is obviously his wife. And I said, that's not your mom, that's your wife. And she's like, oh, no. I just got going very early. And now she's trying to portray that this man is 16 years old when he's probably like 25 years old. And I'm like, you're his mother? I'm like, nah, there's no way. You're his wife. This is your kid right here. Oh, no. And so I'm like, oh, yeah. So here goes the antics. So I said, let me ask you a question. This is your son, right? She said, yeah. I said, why are you putting your son out begging? Why don't you have your son go to work? I looked at him and said, you need to go to work. You know that? You need to go to work. You need a job. Well, I lost my job. Well, there's plenty of places to get a job. People looking for workers all day long. This is wrong. So I'm looking at the so-called mother and saying, this is wrong. You're so wrong to be teaching your son to be a beggar. This is totally wrong. You should not do this. Unbeknownst to me, other people at the station are hearing this conversation going on. So now I'm just basically like, no, and so I'm just kind of now playing their game. And so lady's like, oh no, he's a good boy. He needs work. And I go, oh really? Well, I could probably put this guy out digging ditches and pouring concrete on the right day if I could pick him up and probably, oh yeah, I want to do that. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, right, yeah, sure. Yeah, you're going to do that, right? You have no idea how many people I've picked up at a gas station, taken them with me to go do a job. And 15 minutes in the job, they can't work anymore. Yeah. And I give them their $20 and tell them to go home. Yeah, these are real stories. So anyways, the whole point is, now as I'm standing there, this lady, they call them the Karens, this white lady, nice white lady, probably around my age, comes walking across the parking lot with a bunch of money in her hand. And so as I'm standing there, she hands them cash money to buy gas. So I'm like, oh, here we go. So she gives it to him, and I look at her like, so now this is classic. So now this lady that's inside the car, that's trying to be very nice and friendly to me, all of a sudden she goes radical. This is none of your business. Get out of here. This is none of your business. Basically like, F you. Well, and I was like, I'm out of this because I'm not going to get into altercation with these people in the middle of Sheetz parking lot. So as I'm walking away, sure enough, they get in the car and they drive off. And I'm telling the lady now that's sitting in her minivan, I said, you just got scammed. And she's kind of like, and she's looking in her mirror and she's seeing, I said, you just gave them cash. They can't pay cash at the pump. They have to go inside the store. You should have just used your card and give them $5 worth of gas. But I mean, I didn't get into all that with that lady. But I'm just looking at this lady just has her look on her face like, yeah, she got scammed. And so now I go inside the store, and one of the store managers there is like, I just saw everything that went on out there, just so you know. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just, he's like, oh, this goes on all the time here. And he goes, there's a lady around here that goes to the Giant next door with $2,000, $3,000 every day and wires the money overseas. I'm like, what? This guy's now telling me a story of some lady that's wiring overseas $2,000 to $3,000 cash every day, and then she goes and portrays the poor person, and she goes out and begs for money. Wow. And she has a nice Mercedes, he said. He said it's the biggest scam in the world. I mean, is this a group of people that get together? And here's the thing that I think to myself of the richness of our country to other countries. And somebody that's more in depth in this, I'd love to hear your comments. If you have $1,000 of money and you wire it to say India, is that worth $3,000? Is that worth $10,000? I don't know that type of a currency evaluation. My understanding is the dollar is always more powerful for the most part in most parts of the world. Sometimes not, sometimes it is. Depends what's going on. But here's the thing. So when somebody wires $1,000 to India, is that now, do those people like pay you? You know, you've now enriched yourself in India, you know, double, triple, quadruple the monies. I really don't know. But it's just, I just know from dealing with businesses that have majority of their where they came from is from overseas. And so anyways, wow. And I think what a shame. You know, we live in a society today more than ever where, you know, anybody here that really wants an opportunity, the opportunities still arise. That's what I was talking to you about when I first got going in my career in real sales. In 1988, I read in the Wall Street Journal on how there's going to be more millionaires in the future of this country than you've ever seen before. And yes, it's happened. I mean, there's more millionaires ever in our country. There's more billionaires ever in our country. So it's not like we're losing ground on people getting richer and richer. Now, here's a good story. I still remember reading about a bellhop job in the Wall Street Journal like in 1990. It was like 1990. So if you're a bellhop and you work for a high-end hotel in New York City, it's like a taxi cab driver, whether you realize it or not. I mean, Uber, I guess, has probably ruined that. But if you're a person that has a license in the state of New York City, and one of them being a bellhop, like you have to have a license to be a bellhop at a hotel, I guess. I don't know. It's probably deeper than I realized. But in 1990, I remember reading that you would make $100,000 a year as a bellhop. Yes, yes. I was like, wow, you're telling me at a high-end hotel, but here's the kicker. When the bellhop person would retire or leave their job, they had the right to sell their job. So you had to buy their license to replace them, which could be worth $100,000, $200,000 for you to have to pay this person to get that position. And then I heard, you know, down the road, I'm sure other people are more in depth in this than me, you'd have to buy a taxi license out from a taxi driver that had maybe the affluent area, you know, the airport to the hotel or whatever it may be. But wow, that was a total eye-opener. And even for me, even back then, you know, the conversation be, if you're a high school, no college, where are you going to go? I mean, that's the main theme of the conversations is if you don't go to college, you probably won't be much of anything. And then most people who have any common sense know that that's totally false. It just comes down to who you are and what your drive is, and some of the other things can play out. College isn't a bad thing by any means, but at the same time, to say you go to college and you're this incredibly rich, successful person, it doesn't work that way. We're witnessing it more than ever that so many people are wanting Joe Biden to erase all their college tuition debt. I mean, is that a statement? It tells me it's a fail. It tells me for all these people begging to have their monies forgiven for college, that just tells me that was a huge mistake. You made a mistake. You obviously went to college and gave you nothing in your views of life. It didn't benefit you besides probably meeting more friends and partying your ass off and having a great story of 4 years of being away from the parents and having a blast. I get all that. I mean, don't take me wrong. I'm not here to be critical of college, but I'm also to be reality of what goes on in society, being brainwashed, thinking if you act this way, do this, you'll then be guaranteed to have this. And boy, oh boy, is that the richness of the social media machine more than ever? And here we are. I'm watching right now on Fox Business Live, Barara, the GMCO, we have a historic offer on the table. And that's another thing that drove this conversation this morning about rich is, wow, it's obvious that the car dealer industry, the car automotive industry, the car employees, the manufacturer employees feel like everybody's richer than rich in our country to pay even more money for all these vehicles because they're not making enough money. And for the Barra and for the CEOs, Jim Farley, all these different, the Carlos, whatever his name is for Stellantis, These guys make huge sums of money, and it's raising the eyebrows of all these people working on the line that feel they're poor, and that these people are way too rich, and they've got to give back more. But we all know that what happens is they're not going to give back more. They're just going to charge you and I more for what they're building, which in the end, I think, is just going to create even more financial struggles for even more people. And so now the Car Edge, I watch the Car Edge every now and then because they do these big, you have the YouTube channel of, oh, the car prices are through the roof, it's over. You have these different antics of these people. And so the so-called conversation between Zach and the dad, I guess that's his name, is that the millennials and the Generation Zs are not going to buy cars because they're too expensive. And until the prices come down, they're not buying cars. Okay, cool, great. And so the father's like, they're going to be old people by the time that happens. I thought that was pretty classic. That the dad, instead of being more of appeasing to the community watching his channel, like, yeah, absolutely, the prices are going to come down because the market's going to crash. I mean, everybody's just overextending themselves beyond believable, and eventually the curtain will be raised to the reality everybody's pants are down. I mean, does that really play out? Yeah, so anyways, back to this people, more than ever in this area, I'm sure anybody that's out and about, more than ever, the beggars, the handlers, the pawners, the scalpers, what do you want to call them? These people are rampant everywhere. And so many people play, they play the game with these people. And that's why these people do it, because if they can get $10 or $20 out of, a person, and then they go do it 10 more times, that's $100, $200 a day cash money. And anybody knows that in today's society, if you're making $20 an hour and you work 8 hours a day, it's 160 gross, you're probably going to bring about 120, 130 maybe home. So if you can run around the gas stations or stand in the street corner and put 3-4 hours a day and you can get yourself $150, $100, $200, you're better off. Wow. So that's pretty classic. When I came out of the gas station, there's this another young man there in a nice Ram diesel truck, 2500, and he's like, I saw it all, man. He's like, I saw it all. He was loving it. He's like, I saw what you did there. I was like, yeah. I'm like, he's just like, yeah, it's just so bad. It's so bad. And what's going on in our country? The illegals are coming here at record numbers. Why? Are they told they're going to be rich because they come to America? I mean, is that the presentation? You're going to be able to live off the government? I mean, that's the danger. More than ever, we're witnessing more than ever. There's a whole article last night in the Wall Street Journal that the amount of stealing and theft in the retail business is growing. It's becoming more dangerous. Apparently here just recently, a 49-year-old guy that managed a CVS store thought an individual was stealing, called the police. Who knows? The guy went home, came back to the store with a gun and shot and killed the manager because he felt, I guess, insulted. Then here recently, somewhere else, another store, a high-ranking person in the store was killed by somebody else. So the theft, I mean, it's like, wow. The message more than ever, because these district attorneys, these lackadaisical judges, the woke movement, the Marxist movement, the powers to be political people that are in power more than ever, that are just wanting to allow the recklessness like never ever seen. And so people are being taught to enrich yourself. You just go steal from others to become richer. That's kind of the underlying message, I think, more than ever, is you can go steal stuff and they're not going to do anything to you. And it's a heck of a business. If you can go to Home Depot and you can steal a bunch of Milwaukee tools or any thing that has value, and then you go out in the street and you find people to give you money for it, I mean, that could be a $300, $400, $500 a day for you. I mean, that's what people don't understand is these are people that are going and getting things, not particularly for themselves, but it's now a business. It's the underground, trade of stuff being sold. It could even be, you could be part of a group, but they're saying it's organized groups more than ever. They're taking all these items, and then these people are shipping this stuff overseas, and you're being rewarded, a lot of money for your efforts to help get all this expensive stuff. And because they've raised the limit to what's a crime, of putting you in jail, it's basically $1,000 or more per se in many states before they can really incriminate you. So it's raised the whole story is from these political whack jobs and district attorneys is these little petty fines tie up the court system. So we don't want them. So we're going to raise the real deal to $1,000, $9.99 or more before we'll even consider looking at the case and doing anything because it ties up the court system. I got to play golf. I got a drinking habit that I have, but I got to get out. I got a smoke habit. A pothead. I'm a pothead. I got to smoke my pot. I got to get out of court. Who knows? I don't know. Just as we live in times where we're catering to the losers of life, not the winners. More than ever, our society and our country seems to be really more in the movement to supporting the losers. The education system, talked about it yesterday. In Oregon, they've cut out the credentials and prerequisites for you sending your child to school, that what they have to learn, the basics of math and reading. And I'm sure there's a lot of variables, the depth of that. It's on the surface conversations. I didn't get that far into it, but anybody here knows it's more of the ideology movement than the teaching movement. That's being exposed more than ever. And then it's more about protecting the weird kids that like to abuse other kids. Yeah, doesn't know this story in Loudoun County, Virginia, where the father was apprehended a few years ago because his daughter was raped in a bathroom by a boy that looked like a girl. And they hid it. They didn't want to talk about it because they were trying to do the universal bathroom would be all okay for all these young testosterone guys that have their hormones through the roof and about like to lick anything they see. Any of these stories? Yeah, wow. So the rich of our society, what has it created? What is the richness of our society creating? The Jeff Bezos, beyond believable how much money that guy has. Elon Musk, beyond believable. Here's a great story. If you can find it on X, Twitter, whatever. Elon Musk is down there in D.C. I was talking about it yesterday, where all the bigwig AI guys got together with all the 60 senators to tell them that you guys need to learn more about artificial intelligence so you can tell us how to manage it. That's basically the conversation I got out of it. And so it's classic. So Elon Musk is outside this building, whatever, was it the Ways and House and Ways Committee or whatever it is. It's just too many different branches, too much stuff, man. Government, it's too big. And so here's Elon Musk out in front of the building, and he's being interviewed by a reporter giving the general, the general thesis of what they just went on inside the building. And behind him is the Monopoly man. No lie. There's a guy, you got to look it up. I wish I had taken a picture of it to show you on my channel. There's a guy dressed up as the Monopoly guy. If you know the Monopoly board game, you've got this older gentleman with the black hat on, the gray mustache, the tuxedo, and he's supposedly, he's the money man, and he's the Monopoly character figure. Well, he is over behind. Just picture like where my Suburban, picture is back behind that gold Chevy thing. Just picture, behind me right now is a Monopoly guy that's kind of, he's the security people there are trying to kind of put their face in front of that guy, but then he'll move over here, and then they'll do over here, then he'll move over here, and they just kind of and so there's a Monopoly guy. So what was that purpose? And my thoughts were, I mentioned on X, was it's Elon Musk. He's the Monopoly guy. The guy's taking control of everything. The guy is controlling more than ever the EV market. The guy's controlling more than ever the space market. The guy's controlling now the social media platform market. He wants to control the artificial intelligence market. So Elon Musk, in so many ways, he's gaining more power than ever as an individual, and he's one of the richest men in the world. So he's the Monopoly guy. But I don't know. I'd be interested to hear somebody else's view of what they thought that was. And so, wow. So here we are, UAW, they're on the strike, and here's what's incredible. Yesterday, Jim Farley, I just tell you, the guy reminds me so much of the comedian, actor Jim Farley that was the goofball and he sadly passed. But apparently he's a cousin to Jim Farley. If I'm remembering, Was that his name? The Farley, the comedian. I can't even keep track of all the damn names. But anyways, he yesterday is saying that if the UAW gets what they want, then the average union worker will be making $300,000 a year. I think he's lambasting. I think it's going to be like $165,000 a year. But he also claims that if the union gets everything they want, Ford will be filing bankruptcy. Wow. So if the UAW gets everything they want, Ford's dire straits are it's over. And I mean, in so many ways, you just have to say to yourself that once again, there's a lot of variables that play into this union pay and how it really plays out. But I can tell you this much. I think that they're going to get their 30% increase. I think they'll get their 30% pay raise. The 4-day work week, I don't know. I don't think they'll get that. But I think where it's all going to go, they'll probably get 30%. And that's kind of that's the realm. UPS got that. The airlines got 40+%. So, but at the end of the day, talk about oneself enriching themselves even more at the expense of others. I mean, doesn't that seem what's going on more than ever in society? Is that today we're living in the most expensive times ever, and so many people are enriching themselves. And it's just like, but is that right? I mean, there's just a fine line there of what is fair and equitable to most versus like Saudi Arabia and Russia. We're now at the $90 barrel oil. It's all about the greed of the oil market now, where this is sitting administration, Joe Biden, thinking he knew how to handle the oil market, he has a clue. You know what I think? This guy Zelensky's coming into town to meet with Joe Biden next week. And what's it going to be about? We all know. It'll be about more money. I mean, I could be wrong. I'd be amazed if I'm not. But you think to yourself, if Joe Biden had not been elected, do you think there'd be a Russia-Ukraine war? I can tell you right now, there would not be one. There would not be a Ukraine-Russia war. It wouldn't have happened because Trump would not have supported it, and Trump didn't trust Ukraine as it is. And the irony is that Joe Biden was in with Ukraine so long ago. That's all now the stuff that's coming to light. And you just know that the Zelensky guys, like this guy's my perfect pawn to go fight Russia. This guy will play the game with me to fight Russia. As some are saying, I mean, I'm not following the war that in detail, but some are saying right now Russia has basically taken a lot of Ukraine's land. And, so Ukraine is not per se, winning on the aspect of them retaining their provenance of how much is their area. I could be wrong on that, but Russia will just dig in their heels and just fight for years and years and years. So, wow. So here's Zelensky. Is he enriching himself? I mean, it just feels so dirty. I mean, for me, I just think, nah, there's so much corruption going on with that right now. Wow. So, all right. Let's just kind of wrap it up. It's going to be a long video. So UAW, if everybody is following this stuff, now the speculation is that you're going to be so lucky to buy a car. If the union, and here's the thing, the union is going to target the Ford Bronco plant. That's happening right now. It's already started. They're targeting the Chevrolet Colorado plant, and they're targeting the Jeep Wrangler plant. And it's the first time ever from Sean Fain, the president of the UAW, is saying this is the first time ever in UAW's history they have targeted more than one of the big three. So this is the first ever of their first tactics. 11,000+ people have not gone to work today. So now, if you're waiting for your Ford Bronco, well, here you go. That's been kicked to the curb. You want your Chevy Colorado? You want your Jeep Wrangler? Jeep Wrangler is so much the market. Can't really see that being an immediate impact, but here's the whole point. They're already saying right now that if the UAW stays in track, I gotta get some water here. They're going to create the havoc of the car market again. They're going to force you and I to be at the mercy of the car inventory again, and the cars are going to get more expensive. Wow. When do the rich people go broke? I mean, the running joke is that the millionaires, the billionaires buy up the millionaires, whatever. I don't even know the exact working on it. But the whole point is, when does the richness of this country at some point just have a breaking point? And what you thought of so many who are so rich are really broker than broke. Hey, wait a second. Don't be talking about me. Anyways, hey everybody, once again, if you want a YouTube Ice Age TV sticker, just reach out to me. Some people are reaching out, just so you know, to iceagetvcomments@gmail.com. And wow. So my buddy of mine is trying to convince me to get an RV. And get this, there's an RV show right up the road from me. Oh my gosh. Do we have more adventures coming your way? Stay tuned. Hey, God bless. Have a great day. I do have to go to work, I do work, actually.